Tune in to any music program and the chances are that they'll tell you where it is in the charts or where it reached in the charts, because the charts have always been very important to the music industry. And they were to me when I grew up in the late 50s, early 60s, buying discs. Indeed, here is a chart that I kept from 1959 from a New Musical Express. The rest of the magazine my father threw away because he had a policy that if you didn't keep things tidy, they'd get dumped. Something that clearly did not rub off onto me. But The Enemy was one of 4 magazines that ran separate charts. There were no official charts. There was The Enemy, there was a Record Mirror, there was a Disc and Melody Maker. Now I kept buying The Enemy. Here's a later one showing that the Beatles were successful. And then I bought the Record Mirror. Here's an even later one when it went into colour. But the charts were what were important. And the question now comes up, was Please Please Me by the Beatles their first #1 in the charts, or was it not? And the answer is yes and no. But there's an issue with the compilation of the charts. They were not particularly scientific. For the NME, record shops would phone in and tell them what copies they'd sold and how many. And it could be as few as 20 shops, covering the whole of the UK. When they weren't phoned in, the record shops just made a note on a piece of paper and posted the sales to the music magazines. Now the BBC didn't have an official chart to follow, so what they did was they took an average of the chart positions of those 4 magazines, Melody Maker, Record Mirror, Disc, NME, and from that average they put together their top 20. And Please Please Me was #1 in 3 of those magazines, but in the 4th, the Record Mirror, it only got as far as #2. So on the BBC, yes, Please Please Me was played as #1. Spin forward, and the top 50 as used by the Record Mirror became the industry standard for all charts. What that means is that from the moment it became the standard, everything beforehand was taken as gospel. And as Please Please Me did not get to #1 in the Record Mirror chart, it shows now as only ever reaching #2. Does it matter? It does if you're in a quiz.